Yeah, we're back here again, looking at my favorite ship in World of Warships. And I do this every few months, just taking a look at how the Massachusetts is performing. This ship has been my absolute favorite pretty much since it released, and I've been pretty hard on battleships, especially brawling battleships in the last couple of months. I've been finding myself playing a lot more cruisers, a lot more destroyers, and enjoying myself quite a bit because there's just a little less RNG involved there with my battle impact when it comes to those two classes. So I had to see what the Massachusetts was like now that I'm kind of shifting away from a battleship focus, playing more classes. And yeah, it's still my favorite. So today I've got an absolutely ridiculous game here for you. We're going to get over 500 secondary hits and hopefully carry this game out for our team. To start off though, I spawned on the A flank. This can be a good thing or a bad thing on this map, but in this case, no carrier, no subs. This is a good thing. And we're able to take a relatively favorable 1v1 or 2v1 against this Duke of York, and he's going to be taken out reasonably quickly. Massachusetts, of course, isn't quite as strong as the original Massachusetts that I loved so much. The secondaries have been nerfed in a few different ways. Of course, they no longer have instantaneous accuracy. It takes a bit of a build-up time now. That nerf was quite a while ago. A bigger one, though, against some of these tier 7s especially, is the IFHE changes. I used to run IFHE Massachusetts, and that allowed me to pen 27 millimeters of armor. It made it great against certain heavy cruisers at the tier, and of course against lower tier battleships. The secondaries just tore people up. Now it's not worth running anymore, but as you can see, the main guns more than make up for that. These guns are not North Carolina guns. They don't quite have the accuracy, but they do have the punching power and the overmatch. And every once in a while, I'm going to get some very accurate salvos out of this ship. It's a weird kind of ship in that case that the guns feel pretty strong for a secondary battleship. It seems to be a trait of secondary focused ships, brawling focused ships. The guns are pretty mediocre, a little lackluster. Think of ships like Tirpitz, Odin, right? They're really not all that amazing. Even the battlecruiser line, the German battlecruiser line, they're really not great on the gun side. They're okay, they're passable, but not amazing. Not amazing. But Massachusetts feels very strong on the gun side, and I actually prefer these guns to the Georgia and Ohio 457 variety. I don't know why, I just love these triple gun turrets. They feel really, really nice. I would actually prefer a Georgia or an Ohio to just have the normal Montana turrets. I think I'd enjoy that ship a lot more. But the other reason I really enjoy Massachusetts over those two higher tier ships is the maneuverability. It's not just that the tier 8 matchmaker tends to be a little more favorable for brawling. As we can see here, I get reasonably lucky to be mid-tier. Of course, Musashi's almost a tier 10, but at closer ranges, we can definitely deal with him. It's this maneuverability. This ship is so agile. It's got great torpedo protection. Yeah, we took a big hit from the Musashi, but that's to be expected. Importantly, though, we didn't die, and we didn't take, I don't think, citadels. That seemed like full pens to me, just given how much healing we have. Massachusetts also has that amazing, amazing short cooldown heal. And since these turrets traverse reasonably quickly, yeah, we're definitely going to get a triple citadel with our back turret. Back turret, best turret, as always. It seems to be this game, whenever you only have your back turret, that's going to work out the best. Sniping, yeah, we're going to see just how poor this thing is at sniping. But that's okay. Honestly, I'm glad this ship has maybe not the best accuracy at long range, because then it would be straight up overpowered. As it stands, it's probably the best tier 8 battleship. Little on the strong side compared to some of the tech tree counterparts for sure, but it's a ton of fun. And if you're wondering how you can get this ship, well, there's only really the B variant that will be available. Assuming that on Black Friday, Wargaming brings back some of those B variant ships that they've released in the past, you might be able to get your hands on a Massachusetts, maybe even a Jean Bart. They both have B variants, and keep an eye out for those. Sometimes there's even some deals. I just don't recommend gambling in the bundles for them. Just buy it straight up, know what you're getting, and enjoy it, because Massachusetts really is a ton of fun. Until you get into the tier 10 matchmaker. This game went well, I think partially because I'm not fighting tier 10s. I really, really don't like this ship into tier 10. And yeah, that makes sense for most tier 8 ships, but this one especially, since it excels so much at close range, and I have so much fun at these closer ranges that those tier 10 games where I'm forced to snipe, it just feels that much worse because I know what I'm missing out on. What I could be having is a game like this. The enemy Constellation is tearing up our team at the moment, so we gotta be a little careful for him. So trying to get a little cheeky salvo into him, and the flexibility, like I talked about with the Massachusetts, it's amazing. Dealing with the Azuma behind me, the Constellation in front of me, I am going to make a bit of a weird turn here, but I have to turn away from this Constellation while he's behind the island. Those torpedoes are a great way to end my game early, so I need to kite away from him. And since this Azuma is also pushing into me, maybe we can get ourselves in secondary range and potentially deal with him as well. This game's close enough that we could come back. We're a little bit on the back foot here, but there is some serious potential here. Secondary battleships are a lot of fun for me, and honestly, I wish I could play them more. I get very frustrated while playing battleships in general these days, and secondary battleships even more so, thanks to their inconsistency and heavy reliance on the matchmaker. If you want to check my second channel in the description below, I'm just going to upload some stream highlights to that one, and there's going to be a Tirpitz game on there. I'm hopefully going to remember to upload that around the same time as this one, and I get a lot of damage, and it actually goes extremely well, but I'm frustrated the whole game thanks to the main guns. Tirpitz guns are really bad. I was really struggling there. Whereas Massachusetts feels a little bit better. Not amazing. We're still going to bracket some salvos, especially as this Azuma gets closer. I would have loved to have seen a little more damage from some of these overmatching salvos, but I mean, I know I can't have perfect accuracy. Otherwise, you know, people couldn't play the game if all these battleships with all this overmatch had perfect accuracy. But it feels a little bad to only get 3 hits and 2 of them are overpens on an Azuma at 4 kilometers. Thankfully, my secondaries are putting in some serious work, getting a lot of fires. That's not usual. Again, some RNG reliance there, but these fires are going to add up and do quite a lot of damage for us. We're already up to near 200k damage, and there's only 2 of us left. Managed to take out the Azuma, and our Lefantask is actually capping things out, trying to keep us into this. And all we have to do is deal with this Constellation. And this Constellation plays this very well. Unfortunately for him, his ship gets overmatched by my main caliber guns, which is too bad. But you see how he's positioning his ship to travel as much behind me as he can? This forces me to give more broadside than I'd like to. You see how open I have to be to him to get all my guns off? This is a great tactic, and unfortunately for him, he's not really able to capitalize on it. He's just not able to bounce these guns, but a very strong tactic for brawling. And it really shows that this guy knew what he was doing in his ship, and I think he's done a lot of work for his team already. But something you should definitely be thinking about when you're even farming battleships with your cruisers or destroyers, try and force them to give more broadside than they'd like to. Open them up to your teammates, that kind of thing. We're going to pick him up, though. That's nearly 250k damage and 3 kills already. We just missed out on that Duke York at the beginning, so that's actually 4 kills. So we might have had a Kraken into this one. The Helena makes a massive mistake and pushes in, so we're going to be able to deal with that reasonably well. The enemy destroyer we know is in the A cap here, as we can see that it's being capped. And I'm a little bit wary, because those Italian DDs, well, they have some kind of poor torps for YOLOing. Their smokes definitely are good enough to YOLO me, and at this HP, yeah, he can definitely take me out with those torpedoes. But he opts for a kiting approach instead, so I'm going to focus him as much as I can. I can always kill the Helena. I'm not really worried about the Helena. I have a heal remaining, and I just need to take out this destroyer. This is what the game relies on here right now. We have to kill this DD, and if we're going to win. That's what it comes down to. This DD needs to go down, otherwise, even if I kill the Helena, he can just go dark and run away. I'm probably going to end up eating some torpedoes here, but Massachusetts fortunately has a pretty good torpedo belt. It doesn't do all that much damage. And unfortunately, he gets away. Yeah, we nearly managed to kill him. But now we're going to try and take out this Helena and try and chase him down. We got ourselves a Halsey Confederate that always comes in right after I tend to need it, or right at the end of a game. It's always a ton of fun to have Confederate with Halsey on a Massachusetts, but unfortunately, we're actually going to miss out on this Helena kill as well. But, you know, no Kraken, and And unfortunately for us, it's actually going to be no win either. The enemy DD manages to run away, and, you know, props to him. He made the right play, okay? I would have done the same in the given his situation. He does a good job of securing the win. The only thing I can do now is get into A as quickly as possible. There's a big risk of torps, but we lose either way. If I die, we lose. If I delay getting into the cap, we lose. So I had to try, and we do end up eating the torpedoes. So well played to the enemy DD for carrying that game out. It's not easy to make good decisions in the late game like that. So well played to him. And honestly, well played to our friendly LeFantasque, I believe. He played well. We nearly clutched that one out. 275k though, and over 500 secondary hits. Pretty good result. And I think illustrates why I think this ship is so good. Not every game's going to look like this, but it can. And it's a lot of fun to be playing this ship. It's much better than the German brawling counterparts. It's way, way better. Much more fun and much more consistent. I actually played a lot of tier 8 today while streaming, and I noticed that I didn't get matched up into as many tier 10 games as I've been used to in the past. There might be something to those super ships pulling more tier 9 and 10 games up out of tier 8, and I had a lot of fun. Tier 8, if you didn't know, is my favorite tier. It's home of some of my absolute favorite ships. Atago has long been one of my favorite cruisers in the game. I love that thing. I even brought out the good old Kutuzov just to see how OP that thing is still. It is still OP, just in case you're wondering. Smoke plus HE, it's pretty nuts. But the captain build here is something I've been pretty set on for a while. It's this kind of hybrid build that, well, we give up concealment. That's what we give up here to gain the secondary firepower. And I think it's worth it on the Massachusetts. You could run concealment build and maybe get away with just normal secondary accuracy. You're only gaining an extra, what, 50% there? So it's useful, but they're still reasonably accurate without it. And you'd get some concealment and potentially get into closer ranges with your main guns. But I'm playing a Massachusetts. I'm playing for those secondaries, those close range brawls, and I want to maximize that as much as possible. I've been loving steering gears on my battleships recently because I've been trying to be more mobile. With submarines and carriers being in the game more, I think sitting still is a mistake. And being mobile and having steering gears to dodge things a little easier, I think is very good, and I've been enjoying it. That said, I think you can run anything here. Outside of airstrike modification. I always forget that this one exists. Damage con system mod 2, propulsion mod 1, they're all very, very good. I think you definitely want to run concealment here. Ship consumables mod is a hilarious gimmick, especially if you run the damage control party mod 1. You can have yourself like a 34 second consumable action time on your damage con, which is hilarious. It's a lot of immunity time where you're not getting lit on fire, things aren't breaking, that kind of thing. But I don't think it's necessary. I think having concealment, steering gears is very, very nice. I love myself some Massachusetts, and let me know what you think of this ship in the comments down below if you've got it, and if you don't, are you thinking of picking it up on Black Friday if they do offer the B variant? I should mention that it is identical. It's just got a different name in game, and you get this black camo, which actually looks pretty cool. Honestly, I think the B variant looks pretty epic, but I played the normal one in this one, but I have played both of them quite a lot because, yeah, I just enjoy them that much. 3 million XP, nearly 1 million XP. Probably 400 or 500 games between them. It's a ton of fun, and if you can't get this one, try and get yourself an Ohio. That one's very much worth getting. It's a tier 10 variant, a little harder to brawl because tier 10 is a little bit longer ranges, but the fast cooldown heal, the tanky hull, the decent main guns, the decent secondaries, it's a very fun package. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.